Hey Spuddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome to the first impression video of Gran Colombia. They were just announced by Firaxis, and I'm sitting down. This time I did take a moment to kind of look through them and write down a couple of notes, so my thoughts were a little bit more gathered and I didn't miss anything important. But let's go ahead and just jump right in and have a look at this video.
Simón Bolivar leads Gran Colombia in Sid Meier's Civilization VI. In a series of stunning campaigns, Bolivar liberated much of South America from Spanish control, changing the future of the continent forever.
So far, I really like the look of Simón Bolivar, and I really also like the music playing in the background. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. I'll try to make sure it's loud enough. This time, that was another mistake I made, but I'm really excited to see Simón Bolivar. I actually don't know a whole lot about Simón Bolivar or Gran Colombia, so I'm kind of looking forward to reading a bit about the lore.
Simón Bolivar's unique ability is Campaña Admirable. When entering a new era, Gran Colombia will automatically earn their unique unit, a great general, called a Comandante General. These have a wide range of passive and active effects, like adding combat strength to nearby units, providing instant upgrades, granting additional trade routes, and more.
Wow, those look insane. And in all honesty, I kind of wish this was how great generals already worked. I think it would be very, very cool. This seems like seems like an alternate design for great generals built into a Civ, which is really, really cool. Which I think would be really cool if we got a mod that maybe kind of sprinkled in some of these great general ideas into the regular great general pool. But it's really, really cool. I love the idea of having a unique unit that you get for free, that you can kind of choose to use. Oh, I'm going to use this guy for an early war because he gives all my units +4 combat strength, which is really powerful. Or I'm just going to sit on him and wait for me to get a couple more, and then I'll go for a war later. And I like the idea of being able to use great people like bombs to like wound an enemy's army. And it looks like it even did city to the units inside the city and stuff like that, which is really, really cool to be able to do damage to units who are quote unquote protected. I am curious though, it does look like it's not able to kill units. You can see here this Conquistador. Oh my god, I forget the name of this unit. But it looks like this unit did take -25, but I don't think it died, did it? No, I think it survived on 1 health, or maybe it did die. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. And the cool thing is, it's not just military bonuses. It seems like you can get trade routes out of it. There might be other things that you can get. And, you know, getting an early trade route with this bonus would be really, really powerful. Not only that, but I can only assume that their bonuses apply to all of your units. So if you can keep these around for a couple of eras, you'll be in great shape. But I think this alone really pushes them in kind of a militaristic direction. They're going to be able to do things like pick and choose when they go to war, or even just to play defensively and turtle with these really, really powerful great generals ready to like just beef up their defensive army and stuff like that. It's a very flexible and versatile bonus that I'm very excited to see in gameplay.
Gran Colombia's unique unit is the Llanero. This musical warrior replaces the cavalry unit and becomes stronger with each adjacent llanero. If the unit is in range of a Comandante General that activates their special ability, they will regain all lost health. Gran Colombia's unique ability...
Wow, the llanero sounds really, really powerful. If we kind of just scroll back there just a scooch, might be able to get an idea of the combat strength of these units. Yeah, look at this, 96 combat strength. Now this is a unit that seems to be, like, it has +5, +4, +5. Oh my god, holy crap, the Comandante General and the Great General bonuses are actually separate. You can have both at the same time. That's insane. And the fact that you can heal this unit when you use your Comandante Generals, and they get +4 combat strength when they're adjacent to more units. This unit is ridiculous, like legitimately ridiculously powerful. And the timing, this comes in like late industrial. These are kind of like modern armor sort of combat values right here. 96 is a huge amount.
Unit and becomes stronger with each adjacent llanero. If the unit is in range of a Comandante General that activates their special ability, they will regain all lost health. Gran Colombia's unique ability is Ejército Patriota. This grants additional movement to all units. Promoting a unit does not end their turn. Gran Colombia's unique improvement is...
Hang on a minute, hold on, we'll come back to this. +1 movement is actually a pretty huge deal. it opens up a lot of options, and it's going to help you throughout the entire game. Like even early scouting, like an early scout for Gran Colombia will be way more mobile than it will be for any other civ. And if it also applies to your builders and your settlers, it's going to be incredibly powerful, which it seems like it does apply to those, because not only are you going to be able to settle your cities, like, usually it might take 10 turns to walk to a city location. Gran Colombia might shave 3 to 4 turns off that, so they might get their cities down a few turns earlier, which means they finish buildings a few turns earlier, which means they snowball a few turns earlier. And not only that, but if it also applies to builders, which I assume it does, I'm pretty sure they say it in the video later, actually. That's going to let you get your improvements online a couple of turns earlier. And that might seem like a very small thing, but those small little advantages, they build up over the course of a game. And I feel like this bonus alone would be enough to make this a very powerful civilization. +1 movement is huge. Legitimately huge. And if you manage to upgrade like a melee unit as Gran Colombia and put a great general and one of the commandant generals, you can get a melee unit with 6 movement. I think if the commandant generals give them +1 movement, you can use the promotion. You have your abilities, that's 4. You can use a great general, that's 5. And if the commandant generals give +1, you can have a +6 movement. You can have infantry running around like they're heavy cavalry or light cavalry. That's insane. It's this bonus is arguably one of the most insane sort of empire-wide passive bonuses. Like +1 movement to every single unit is just ridiculously powerful. Getting your improvements online a turn earlier means every other improvement you plan to build after that builder gets online a couple of turns earlier, right? Because you don't have to move so many tiles. It's just ridiculous. It's not always going to save you a few turns, but that alone is just insane. Because if you think about it, if you build a mine a turn earlier, you essentially just got a production, right? Let's assume it's the baseline mine. You just got one production out of thin air that no other civ can get. And if building that mine a turn earlier means you build your next mine 2 turns earlier, because you would have had to wait an extra turn and then move and then build it, you are now you're getting 3 total production over another civ. And those small little snowbally advantages mean you'll complete a building a couple turns faster than another civ, which means you get more yields a couple turns faster than a civ. So a small little adjustment like that actually has profound ripple effects and snowball across an entire game.
Gran Colombia's unique improvement is the hacienda. It can be built on plains, hills, and grassland, and gives additional production, gold, and housing. Building adjacent plantations or haciendas gives even more food and production.
Now, as far as I can tell, the hacienda seems like a fantastic improvement. But it doesn't really start to shine until the late game, in my opinion. Now, the yields are good, don't get me wrong. It's I believe it's +1 production. In fact, can I go back? I should really be talking about these while I'm looking at this screen. +2 gold and +1 production is really damn good, especially if you get the +1 production from having 2 haciendas together. And you also get a full housing out of this. So I feel like this would be especially good if you have grassland, flat grassland that you can't build mines on. You build a triangle of haciendas, you get 2 food, 2 production, 2 gold. It's like a petra tile, but you also get 3 housing out of that, little triangle, compared to a farm triangle, which would be 4 food on each tile and half a housing. I would take the hacienda over that any day. This is really just if you have flat land and you wanted to build farms, build the hacienda instead. Now, if you're building the farms for food and not just for housing, I still think in a plain city, you might want to have a farm triangle rather than a hacienda triangle. But definitely in a grassland city where, food is fairly plentiful in grassland cities, I definitely think the hacienda is a good choice. Now, it doesn't really come into its own unless you have plantations and you have multiple plantations, and it's the late game where you have replaceable parts and rapid deployment. And those are very late game technologies. So I don't think this is an overwhelmingly kind of game breaking unique improvement. I think it's just a decent unique improvement that's going to give you pretty good yields throughout the game. I don't see it completely changing how you play, but I think every other city, every now and again, you might have a triangle of haciendas, you might have a diamond of haciendas, just making your tiles, your flatland tiles, a little bit more workable. The actual really nice thing about this is it may be possible to justify chopping more lumber mills. You chop out a builder, you drop down some haciendas, boom, you just got a bunch of housing, you just got a bunch of production, you just got a bunch of gold, and you managed to chop for whatever you were chopping out, if it was a builder or something else. So this actually opens up a lot of options too with how you're going to be looking to improve your empire. And you could even have two cities with an overlapping, hacienda diamond, so they both get two of the tiles or whatever, which is going to give you, and like the housing alone is really, really powerful. It means you're going to be able to grow rather large cities. So you might want to have haciendas and high food tiles as well. Yeah, I'm not sure. I would probably try to find a way to put a triangle of these in every city, or a diamond of these in every city, and then maybe like a farm triangle as well. So I feel like these guys are going to need a lot of room. Like they're going to need a lot of tiles to really drop down all the improvements they want. But I guess maybe if you use like internal food trade routes with Magnus, you could probably skip the farm stuff and use, food trade routes to kind of beef up your civilization's food production, and then kind of use haciendas as the actual workable tiles. I think that this is a very, very powerful civ. I'm very impressed with the design of this civ. It looks incredibly fun to play. It looks really well put together. The bonuses seem really, really impactful, but also mostly it's actually a civ that really changes how you play, that isn't centered around a particular win condition. You can kind of say it is domination with the great generals, but even those commandant generals, they don't always give you combat bonuses, right? Some of them give you trade routes and stuff like that. So this is a very flexible civ, and like generally speaking, very flexible civs are kind of low in tier lists because they don't have a particular bonus towards a victory type. But I think these bonuses are so general and so powerful that these guys can do whatever they want, really. The only one that I would maybe question is typically civilizations that rely on a unique improvement to kind of take up their land are going to struggle when it comes to things like tourism, because you often want to use your land for things like seaside resorts. You want to use them for things like national parks, or even if you get a unique national or a unique improvement from a city state like the Colossal Head, you're going to want to use it for that. So that would be the only place I would ding them. They're probably a little bit worse than average on a culture win, but everything else they're completely fine at doing. They're basically like a generic civ when it comes to religion victories. Oh, they do have that extra movement, which is nice. Yeah, I would say these guys are just generally really good. I would say they would kind of be more geared towards domination and science, which are like meta for multiplayer. In fact, this civilization, I would be terrified to go up against this civilization in multiplayer.
Gran Colombia benefits from its hard-working people. Since all their units receive a boost to movement, this helps them achieve their goals quickly.
Oh, I completely forgot to talk about the fact that they can promote their units and still move. That's huge. That's like really, really powerful. I don't think I would call it game breaking, but what it means is they have so much more momentum than other civs. Not only do they move more, but they can promote and move. And if you really think about that, that's like every now and again, your units get an extra turn, right? They get to jump ahead in the timeline. And that's really a momentum or tempo style of play. They're going to be able to do things when other civs can't. They're going to be able to act faster. This is really scary in multiplayer. Like if you're trying to kill an enemy unit and you give them enough experience to level up, he can level up and then counterattack, whereas any other civ could only just level up and be defensive. So this is super powerful. Super powerful civ for multiplayer, I feel like.
Settlers will race to grab contested land.
Oh my goodness, is that El Dorado? I think that is El Dorado. And it looks like El Dorado gives adjacent tiles 2 culture and 3 gold, which is pretty crazy powerful. Not exactly what I was expecting from El Dorado. I don't know if we're going to know more about it soon, but that seems like pretty damn good bonuses. Gold and culture are kind of odd yields in that they can sometimes be a little bit difficult to get your hands on early game. So if you manage to find El Dorado and settle a city, like can you imagine a Petra in this city? These tiles here would be insane. But yeah, this looks like a great wonder. I'm curious though if maybe owning one of the tiles gives you a benefit as well, or if it's just like an adjacency thing. But this is a really, really cool wonder, I have to say. And it's also talking about the fact that settlers can move faster. That goes back to what I was talking about. You're just going to be able to settle your cities a couple of turns sooner. Maybe if you find a really good spot, you want to settle a city at the start of the game, right at the start. You don't have to give up a turn to move. Maybe it's within range for you to move there and settle same turn, which is really damn powerful. And you could maybe even justify wandering a little bit further than any other civ could as Gran Colombia.
Builders will get cities up to speed faster.
That's what I was talking about earlier. Again, I know I kind of stressed this point, But being able to build your improvements a couple turns earlier throughout an entire game is huge. It's like you're shifting all of your benefits and all of the subsequent benefits that come from the extra yields forward several turns over the course of the game. And it might only mean a couple of production in the ancient era, but by the time you reach the future era, that's going to have snowballed into a few turns of science, a few turns of production, a few turns of gold over any other civilization. So they're just going to get stuff done faster than anyone else.
And when combined with Comandante Generals, military units will blaze through enemy territory. Will you march majestically towards great prosperity? How will you lead Gran Colombia in Sid Meier's Civilization 6?
So that's it. That's the video. There's just a little bit of that's it. There you go. Wow, I'm really, really impressed by Gran Colombia. I'm really, really excited to play them. I'm not sure who I'm going to play first, actually. Both of these civs just look incredibly interesting to me, and I'm really, really damn excited to play them. I would definitely rate these guys as A tier based on the movement, the great generals alone. With the Hacienda and the unique unit, I don't think those are like game breaking, but I don't think they hurt the civ either. So I would put these guys solidly in like A tier based on my first impression. Now, of course, that could change based on me, you know, playing with them a little bit. S tier is the best, A tier is like second best. These are really, really fun and powerful civs. I'm really excited to play them. And I think overall, I think Firaxis have done an amazing job designing an interesting civ here again. I've never seen Simon Bolivar in a game, as far as I know. I've heard the name before, and I know everyone was super excited when Gran Colombia was announced. And I'm just really excited to actually play them. So I hope you guys enjoyed that first impression and analysis. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Keep an eye out for gameplay videos from me. Don't forget to subscribe, like, all that jazz. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.